Hello everyone, my name is Denise Zhang, and welcome to the Business of Medicine, Understanding the Business. Let me just tell you a little bit about my background. I came to Madison 4.5 years ago from the Twin Cities. While there, I spent 19 years as a private practice administrator for a multi-specialty group. In that role, I was responsible for financial management, strategic planning, clinic operations, coding, human resources, IT management, project management of 2 practice management systems and 1 EMR installation, and I worked on hospital integration with the Children's Hospital of Minnesota. In my current role as the Cardiovascular Medicine's Division Administrator, I work with the Division Chief and with the Department of Medicine's Administration. I'm responsible for overseeing the physician and advanced practice provider recruitment, as well as the physician practice plan, their comp plan, and also financial management, strategic planning, research administration, human resources, and I also provide input for clinic operations in the ambulatory setting. I've also recently received my fellow designation as a certified medical practice executive from MGMA, the Medical Group Management Association. During this session, we will cover the following topics: academic versus non-academic medicine, business expenses of any practice type, and understanding the back office functions or the business office and billing. To prepare for this presentation, I consulted with a number of individuals to give you a well-rounded perspective on these topics. These individuals included division administrators, Department of Medicine Administration and Finance, private practice administrators, and a colleague of mine, a senior vice president of operations at a private practice hospital, and MGMA, the Medical Group Management Association. As you are considering your next steps in medicine, you'll likely be choosing between these two. Of course, there are always other options. Academic. If you are planning for an academic career path, become familiar with the institution's different tracks. Here at the University of Wisconsin, for example, we have a clinician teacher track, a CHS clinical health sciences track, and a tenure track. The clinician teacher track is 90% clinical, with the rest is teaching and possible clinical trials. CHS track is more than 50 to 80% clinical, and the balance is research and teaching. And then the tenure track is typically 70% research. These tracks vary by institution, so be sure to ask for their definition. Non-academic medicine. There are many choices in non-academic medicine. Everything from private practice in small to large groups, however these are becoming less and less common, to hospital system-owned models with employed physicians, to hybrid models with productivity-based compensation as a part of the contract. It all depends on the level of involvement in operations and strategy you want to have as a physician. Some questions you might consider asking yourself are, do you want to become a business owner? Do you want to tolerate risk, as with any business venture? Or do you want to receive a salary and practice medicine? Typically, the more risk, the greater the earning potential. Governance structures in academic practice. In the UW health system, there are 2 entities that employ or contract with physicians: the UW Medical Foundation and the UW School of Medicine and Public Health. In our system, each one pays the physician independently. The UW Medical Foundation is the practice plan. It is faculty governed. In other words, a vote is required for changes to the compensation plan, etc. It does patient billing. There are own clinics, and most of the advanced practice providers are employed through UWMF. The School of Medicine and Public Health manages the academic appointment of faculty, residents, fellows, the education mission, and research mission. All hires are approved by the medical school and dean's office. Our system is going through integration into one large entity, UW Health System. It's still unclear what this combined integrated entity will look like, but we are on our way. It is important to understand the structure of the organization you choose, so you understand how decisions are made and how much you will be paid, and by whom. I would also ask that your role in these decisions are, if you are a voter or are you a passive participant? These are important questions, as you will need to understand how these decisions are made. governance structures in a non-academic practice. The second structure I wanted to review with you is a non-academic practice structure. The private practice structure governance model or the non-academic hospital system model are often comprised of a board of directors, executive or leadership committee, and/or president. There are many combinations of these roles depending on the size of the organization. The key here is to fully understand how decisions that impact your daily clinical life are made and by whom. This information is often found in the contract itself or in the bylaws of the organization. Be informed about that structure and request copies. Additionally, your partnership or employment agreement will spell out how you get to elect these people. Next, we'll review some examples of business expenses. So in this example, expenses are found in either academic or practices or in private practice. This expense are reported as overhead, operating costs, department or division taxes, etc., depending on the organization. Here I'll show you the median total operating cost per 1.0 FTE physician from 2012 MGMA data. This expense includes building expense, insurance, staff salary and benefits, equipment, telephones, etc. What is not included is the physician salary and benefit costs. You'll notice that MGMA reports better performers have a higher cost per 1.0 FTE physician. There are lots of reasons why this may be the case. However, labor costs are generally the highest expenses to an organization. Think more staff, more patients, more revenue, better able to meet the needs of patients. Again, looking further at these business expenses, these expenses would apply to any practice type, whether it's academic or non-academic. Here are the mean salaries from MGMA data for multiple positions within an organization. Labor is the highest expense, as I said. MGMA reported that for every 1.0 FTE cardiologist, there will be 6.86 FTE in clinical support staff costs. This does not include administrative support, payroll staff, human resources, or IT. Employees are also your biggest asset. Your staff interacts with your patients more than you do. Whether it's billing, scheduling, nursing, they are the face and the voice of your organization. Every employee has received training at your expense. As a business owner, whether private practice or academic practice, there is an expense for this training. If staff leave, the hiring and training process restarts, and there is added expense to the organization. Here's another summary of the expenses of any practice type of an organization. As I said, the number one expense is labor. The number two highest expense is the physical building or space. Typically, overhead costs today are running about 60 to 65% of revenue generated. That's 60 to 65% of every dollar collected goes to keeping the lights on and staffing the organization. Again, notice that physician salaries are not on this list of business expenses. Unless the physician is on a guaranteed salary or are in an employed salary model, the physician salary will be determined after all expenses are paid from the remaining dollars available. I'll conclude this presentation with a summary of the back office functions of any organization. Accounts payable processes all expenses of the organization. These professionals need to understand IRS regulations and accounting principles to ensure you are meeting these standards and remain compliant. Marketing is often overlooked but so important. You can do little things every day to ensure referring physicians know who you are. It doesn't have to be a big billboard campaign. You can simply call referring physicians as often as you can with updates on their patients, or send written updates. Go out into the community, give talks. Get involved in the health system. Remember, you are your most important marketer. The business office is responsible for billing and collections of all charges of the professional and technical fees of services. They also process all payments received. Keep in mind that a good system needs to be in place to ensure there is no theft occurring. Even the best staff can have problems when handling cash. As the business owner, you'll want to have your eye on this. contracting includes leases, maintenance agreements, insurance payer contracts, agreements with other health systems, and purchase service agreements. Finally, credentialing. Credentialing is required at almost every hospital to provide any service you perform, whether it's to go into the hospital bedside to see a patient or provide an interpretation in your office, like an echo interpretation or stress test. And you have to pay dues to that hospital, which can range anywhere from $100 to $300 or more per year. Credentialing also applies to insurance carriers. You can only see their patients if you are credentialed by that payer. Coding, and remember I'll say this multiple times, but coders are your friend. They are not the enemy. They will ensure that you get paid for all the hard work that you do. When they ask for an addendum, complete it. When they provide education about coding changes, pay attention. They study what is happening in coding and reimbursement and can guide you through these challenges. Changing a word or phrase in a documentation can increase the payment for something you have already earned. Thank you, and feel free to send me any questions that you may have or plan to attend one of the QA sessions that will be scheduled. Best wishes for your future in whatever path you choose.